Hello and welcome to another World of Stew video, and this time out we are doing a movie review for a relatively new movie that's out in theatres that I saw yesterday. That was a very American way of saying it. Cinemas is what I meant to say, not theatres, because we're in good old UK. Well, not good old UK with the whole Brexit, but anyway. So what did I watch? I watched Pirates of the Caribbean 5. That's right, 5, if you can believe there's been 5 of them. This one is called Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales. Now, unbelievably, it's been 14 years, all the way back in 2003, since Johnny Depp first played Captain Jack Sparrow in Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl, which was supposedly loosely based on the theme ride, in the Disney theme park, Disney World, Disneyland. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's plenty of Americans who will be screaming at me now going, they're not the same. They're not the same. You need to find out about it. But no offence, I have no intention of ever going there, so it makes no odds to me. But anyway, the movie was based loosely on that. And when I say based, I guess it's probably based on that ride as much as the Eddie Murphy and Jennifer Tilly. Oh, Jennifer Tilly. Haunted Mansion Disney movie that they made. But anyway, so we've had 5 of these movies now, and not unlike the Transformers franchise, Michael Bay's Transformers franchise, you have to wonder, A, when is it going to stop, and B, how in the hell do they keep churning these? Now, I understand, don't get me wrong, it's all about the money. Curse of the Black Pearl, which was the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, took just under $700 million at the box office. Since then, they've had one movie which took $950 million at the box office, and a couple that took just over $1 billion. So it's all about the dollar, and they are making a lot of buck off of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. But with that said, I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. How do these films keep getting made? Every single one of these films, as far as I can tell, is about Jack Sparrow, who has pissed off a dead pirate who is coming back to get their revenge, and in the meantime there's lots of shenanigans going on involving some lost treasure. Now, I'm sure there's more to it than that, but that's basically, these films are so instantly forgettable that that's literally the only thing I can tell you about any of them. And that is, unfortunately, again, the plot for Dead Men Tell No Tales. We start off with a young boy who turns out to be the love child of Elizabeth Swann and William Turner, who of course were Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom from the first couple of Pirates movies. Now, if you've seen any of the press for this and you're thinking, oh, they're back, I've seen the press, they're back, don't get too excited. Will Turner, Orlando Bloom, appears in the first 5 minutes of this film and in the last 5 minutes of this film, and Keira Knightley basically walks up a hill looking pretty in a dress at the very end, and that's it. There is a post-credit scene with the pair of them building up to Pirates of the Caribbean 6, but they're not in this film, let's be honest. This film basically tells the tale of Henry. Is it Henry? Anyway, whether it's Henry or not, I do apologise. But it is Will and Elizabeth's son who has grown up, and he now wants to find the Trident of Poseidon because he believes that this will release his father from the curse which ties him to the Flying Dutchman at the bottom of the ocean. Along the way, we meet another dead pirate a dead sailor. He wasn't a pirate, he was part of the Navy, for a better phrase, and he wants revenge on Jack Sparrow. Surprise, surprise. And we also get the usual cast of characters. Geoffrey Rush is there as Barbossa, and it all, of course, revolves around Jack Sparrow, who we meet at the beginning of the film, who is trying to rob a bank. Which leads to like this ridiculous thing where these horses are pulling the building along and it's smashing the place up, and we get Johnny Depp falling through things and climbing on roofs and being the usual Jack Sparrow buffoon that he is. This was pretty much the big set piece for an actual sort of physical stunt in the movie. It's like a sort of trait of the series. The best one I can think of off the top of my head, and I'm not even sure which movie it was in. It might have been the second one, was where they were on the island and they're having a sword fight in the middle of like the giant hamster wheel thing as it's rolling down the hill. Think that, but not as good, because that was a pretty epic sword fight. This just, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm anti Johnny Depp. I used to love Johnny Depp. He's in some of my favourite films of all time. Not Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands. I'm thinking of the director there. Edward Scissorhands. What's the film called with Leonardo DiCaprio in it? Oh, What's Eating Gilbert Grape? And surprisingly, you may be surprised to find out that Benny and June is one of my favourite all-time films. And I used to really like him, but I don't know what he's doing these days, but he's just, ever since sort of the last 5 years or so, I mean, Transcendence was terrible, Mordecai was terrible, Tusk, well, don't even get me started on his appearance in Tusk. Same with Yoga Hosers. The guy is just phoning it in. He used to be one of the greatest actors in Hollywood, and now he's almost at the Nicolas Cage and Samuel L. Jackson standard as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, here he is playing Captain Jack Sparrow. Benicio, it's not Benicio del Toro, it is the other guy from No Country for Old Men, Javier Bardem. He plays Captain Salazar, who is the dead sailor who's now a ghostly sort of pirate, and he's coming back to get his revenge. Lots of great special effects, don't get me wrong, there are some awesome special effects in here. The ghost sharks are pretty cool, but it's just nothing we haven't seen before. It's just dull. And they try to chuck in things like there's this other young girl in the movie, and she finds out that her father is Captain Barbossa. He sacrifices himself at the end of the film to save them. You know, it's supposed to be a sort of monumentally tragic moment, I guess, but the rest of the film has just switched you off so much that you just don't care by this point. Javier Bardem gets what's coming to him. The Navy or the Queen's Guard or whatever it is, they get killed again. How many more of them can there possibly be? You get the monkey is in it again. It's literally just hitting all the beats of all the original Pirates of the Caribbean films. And like I say, it's left wide open for another potential sequel, which will bring back Ian McShane's Davy Jones. Which I have no real desire to see. But then again, I'd rather watch another Pirates of the Caribbean film than Transformers, because I couldn't tell you the plot of any of the Transformers films that have been out so far. And whenever I watch them, I get so confused as to what the hell is going on, and which one is an Autobot and which one is a Decepticon. What happened to the way, the days when they had the little badges on their chests in the cartoon? Bring that back. That was awesome. So, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. It's almost like you wish Dead Men wouldn't make more films, because you know for a fact that the next film is going to feature some more dead pirates trying to get Jack Sparrow. Oh, and speaking of, well, not dead, but I don't know if you remember back in a couple of the earlier movies, what's his name? Keith Richards, he played Captain Jack Sparrow's dad. Well, in this one, we get a cameo from Paul McCartney, of all people, who plays Captain Jack Sparrow's uncle. And that is every bit as terrible as it sounds. So I'm going to give this movie a score of 5 out of 10. It wasn't terrible, but you're just left going, what's the point? There is no point. I just don't get it. Or maybe there is, and I just don't get it. But what do I know? I'm stuck in my ways, and I'm a grumpy old man now. But there you go. So that was a quick look at the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise and the fifth movie, Dead Men Tell No Tales, which I'm sure will probably break $1 billion just to prove that there is an audience out there for it, and I have no clue what I am talking about. So until the next video comes along, keep it geek.